Ground ball. McLain, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
And this ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Elly De La Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin drills it. Do you believe this? It's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? He's back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run. And the Reds put it tied to score.
Goes to second one. Around to first. Got a double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone. Into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Archer does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on. Fly ball. Hit the deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. It's a winner. It's a winner. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause and the pitch. And a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look turns it loose and Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2. Again on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Royce Ring pitching, no bunt. Ground ball by the third baseman into left field. Jay Bruce rounds third. This one belongs to the Reds.
That's it pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
With 1 out here in the 11th inning, you sure got to go now. One on, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you paying the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap, right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. And Neal going back at the warning track. Oh, he's gone. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to Chatterbox Sports for the Reds versus Atlanta Braves pregame show. My name is Ricky Logan, and today I am joined by not Mike Hart, but a good friend of mine, Austin Layton. How are you doing tonight, Austin?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to hopefully a Reds victory tonight and split the series, but see how it goes. A lot of storylines going into it. I'm sure we'll hit.
Yeah. We got some kind of breaking news kind of going into the show. Hunter Greene placed on the IL with the grade 1 groin strain. What are your thoughts on that? We didn't make any roster moves to make up for it, so we're kind of down a man. What do you think? Should we have maybe brought in a reliever or something, or are we just okay?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they definitely need the bullpen help, right? Especially with all the guys they used last night and kind of guys were, I think, almost tasked a little bit even before last night. So, I mean, the only 2 guys I don't think that pitched last night were Richardson and Ashcraft, right? So, I mean, they could have used some bullpen help. I guess, I don't know how the options and things worked out on like the guys that they potentially would have brought up, but without, Hunter Greene wouldn't have pitched, I guess, for, 4 more days anyway. So maybe you don't have to rush it, but I don't know. I think all in all, it's maybe a lot better than it could have been with, a pitching injury. And at least my thoughts on it so far too are, Hunter's never pitched a full major league season anyway. So maybe this is a little bit of rest for his arm. His arm's not actually hurt. He just threw over 100 pitches his 2 starts ago. So maybe it works out for the best. I mean, obviously losing him for, I think, a minimum of 2 starts is going to probably hurt this team. He's one of, if not the best pitcher in Major League Baseball before
Yeah.
yesterday. But so I don't know. What were your thoughts? I think I'm okay with it, at least for now, but I don't know if that's, how you're feeling too.
Yeah, when I first got the news, I was worried because I wasn't sure what the injury was, and I was just terrified about it being an arm injury. And seeing what Terry said after the game, saying he just felt like a little pull and not a pop, so it's nothing serious, hopefully. But it's probably, like you said, it's probably a good thing happening now and not in August or September. Hopefully, he can just remain healthy the rest of the season. Let's talk about yesterday a little bit. We win 4-3. Had a nice offensive outburst from TJ Friedl. What stuck out to you about last night?
Yeah, I mean, Friedel for sure with the power, I think obviously stuck out. We needed some offense like that, after the losing streak that they were on. But no, I mean, that stuck out for sure to me on the offensive side. And then after Hunter left the game, I mean, the bullpen was pretty good. Like Suter did, not as good as he usually does, honestly, but especially the back end of the bullpen, May, Santillan, and Pagan. I mean, those guys are pretty much lights out. And like, I think that honestly could be your 7th, 8th, and 9th for, a winning Reds team, down the road. Knock on wood that these guys stay healthy too, obviously. But I don't know. I like that, whole production that the bullpen kind of bailed the team out and kind of kept them in it, in a rough spot where a lot of guys probably didn't think they were even going to be pitching yesterday. But those are kind of the big things for me. Was that up your alley too, or did you see anything else?
Yeah, I was really happy to see May just be dominant in a kind of a pressure spot, and he had a strikeout. Santillan going the way what's he throwing? I think 50 pitches in his last 2 games over 3 innings, and then Pagan going for his 3rd straight day and getting the save. Like that, that's the stuff you want to see, and I'm really happy about our bullpen. And like low key, like with May, Santillan, Pagan, and even maybe throwing Ashcraft in there too. The back 4 of the bullpen is really solid. I'm really impressed with the guys that we have.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think the bullpen as a whole didn't have a great rating when, especially like Alexis Diaz's numbers were factored in. But I think once they got that out of there, you look at the ERAs for a lot of the guys, and like, I don't know, a lot of them are sub, 4 at least for sure. So it's like they got pretty solid guys, and especially Ashcraft. I mean, I think has played a pretty big role coming into games, eating a couple innings if he comes in. I think they might need him to do that tonight. Knock on wood that Lodolo goes deep. But yeah, I mean, I think you can't fault the bullpen right now for how the Reds are playing, at least that's for sure.
Yeah, and offensively, like McLain goes 1 for 4. He gets a hit. Elly goes 1 for 4. Luck's going 2 for 4. Kind of the one everyone's talking about is Jacob Hurtubise, being promoted over Will Benson going 0 for 4. Hines going 0 for 3 in his first game back. I mean, you can't expect Hines and all these guys to be dominant like the way they were in AAA coming up, but you can't really fault the person either. Like Nick and Trace talked about last night. Like it's not Hurtubise's fault that he's the one being promoted over Will Benson, who's got 7 or 8 home runs so far. And I mean, it's tough because Hines, he has a lot of power. He showed it last year when he came up, and he's I think him batting ninth is a good sign. It's kind of a foreshadow of the lineup, but overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the hitters that we have. I mean, we're struggling, no doubt, but I think when they reach close to their potential, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, and this lineup here for today, I mean, with the guys that we at least have called up, I think is one of the better lineups we could probably put out there. I mean, I've heard, obviously people all over the place talking about batting Elly leadoff. I don't know if that necessarily solves all the problems with, I mean, Ellie's been pretty good this year. He hasn't been a world beater by any means. I like Friedl, honestly, in the leadoff spot because what he can do with bunting the ball. He's got some power. He usually is good for a couple hits. I mean, claim they got to get rolling, but I mean, going down the lineup, like, Lux in left field is a good thing for me. I like putting him out there because it kind of solves our issue with losing Hayes, but then it also frees up the DH. And I think we were talking, pre-show here, like whoever's not catching, just put one of the other catchers at DH, like whether
Yeah.
it's Wins
Yeah.
or Stevenson or Trevino. Like those were some of the best 3 hitters that we've got on the team so far this year. So it's like give those guys a chance, keep them, with some steady at bats. They don't have to go through the rigors of catching to still stay in the flow of things. I mean, Santiago Espinal might be our MVP for the season on the Reds so far. So put him at third base. But yeah, I don't know. What are your takeaways, I guess, initially from the lineup as a whole?
Yeah, I like Lux playing in the outfield because that with Marte being out, that puts Espinal at third. And having Espinal in the infield with the way he has been at the plate is just an added bonus. Like you said, I like having the catchers kind of rotate catcher and DH. Trevino's probably the better defensive catcher, minus the arm strength, and I think Stevenson has the better arm strength. But having him kind of get the rest coming back from the oblique injury is just, I think, key. And if we can get him going offensively, and if Trevino can stay, I don't know, within striking range of what he is, I don't think he's going to bat the way he's batting all season, but he's going to come back down. But if he can perform, I don't know, let's just 50% better than what he has in the past, just based off our ballpark and the division's ballparks and just maybe just the National League in general, I think that's a good positive. Let's talk about the pitching matchup. We got Nick Lodolo versus Spencer Schwellenbach. Tell us a little bit about what you got on our starters tonight.
Yeah, I think it's honestly a really good matchup overall. I mean, both guys got ERAs in the 3 range. I don't like looking at record, I guess, too much for starting pitchers, but the Lodolo was 3-3. Swellenbach's 1-3. So they're right about the same amount of strikeouts. Lodolo's got 31, Swellenbach's got 37. This guy's a mouthful name to say, so I feel like I keep butchering it. But anyway, no, I mean, honestly, I think it's going to be a good matchup. Both guys basically had a rough last start that they had. So I think Swellenbach got lit up a little bit over the weekend. Lodolo, we know, gave up some runs in his last start. Kind of shorter outing for, I think, Swellenbach, at least compared to Lodolo innings wise. But I think both guys are kind of looking for that bounce back start. And the tough thing for Lodolo, I mean, I like the way that he's pitched as overall over the course of the year, but Braves lineup's tough, man. So we'll see if he can bounce back. But like we talked about earlier, we kind of need him to go deep too. So like, no pressure, Nick, but we need you, if you want to go like 7 innings tonight, that'd be great. But no, I think it's a really good matchup. Both really good pitchers. Both had pretty good years last year. Lodolo obviously not as much, ability to do so, but I think he's obviously a good pitcher overall. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Lodolo, he gave up 10 hits his last time out. That was the most he's given up since July 31st last year against the Cubs. He's never faced the Braves, so that could be on our side. The only active Brave to face him is Alex Verdugo, and he's, I think, 0 for 3 with a strikeout, so we got that going for us, maybe. Lodolo has a 4.5 ERA over his last 3 starts. He's allowed 19 hits, and he's had 17 strikeouts and 5 walks in that span. And Spencer Schwellenbach, he started out the season hot. He had a 0.45 ERA in his first 3 starts. And then over his last 4 starts, he has an ERA over 7 at 7.14 or 7.17. And if we can get that Spencer Schwellenbach and not the one that started out the season on fire, I think we're okay. But active Reds are 2 for 15. Elly's 1 for 3 with a triple, and TJ Friedl is 1 for 2. And Jake Fraley's 0 for 1, but he has a walk. But obviously Fraley's not playing tonight, and he's dealing with the calf injury. And overall, I think I'm kind of feeling Lodolo on this one. I think he can bounce back. And what do you think about Lodolo? Because we need him to really stretch one out tonight.
Yeah, like I say, man, I think that's like the biggest thing. It's like you can't afford to have him leaving like the 4th or something like that. I mean, granted, they could probably make it work, and I think I just don't want to see the bullpen get taxed early in the season, and that just starts snowballing into more injuries, and then the guys that we just talked about, we liked, at the back end of it, start getting worn out. And then, like I said, it snowballs from there. But So I don't know, man. I think it's really it's a huge game, not only to split the series to stay, above 500, and I always look at these matchups with teams like the Braves, and when we play like Milwaukee or something else, like these are like good measuring games for the Reds to like, you know, see what we actually got, and if we can hang with these guys, I think it builds some confidence, obviously. And you want to get that last game of the series as a win anyway, but yeah, I think it's going to be huge, man. I think I don't know. It's a good game that you want to win. Doesn't mean everything. No, like I'm not going to freak out if they lose. It's May, but at the same time, I think you really want this game as a Reds fan just for momentum's sake.
Yeah, and history's not really been on our side lately. The Reds are 3-20 in their last 23 rubber match games. That's per Reds Daily, Reds Daily 4 on Twitter. Let's get that one up one, and maybe we can walk out of here with at least a split. Let's just go into Houston kind of low key, kind of going, just winning 2 in a row. Why don't you go ahead and just walk us through our lineup here, and then we'll kind of highlight some things as we go.
Yeah, leading off center field, TJ Friedl. That's kind of been a mainstay, at least for this year so far. Same with kind of the next couple guys. McLain at second, Elly De La Cruz batting third at short. Gavin Lux, like we talked about, is out in left field. You got Spencer Steer at first, Santiago Espinal at third, and then behind him is Tyler Stevenson, the DH. And then closing out the lineup is Trevino and then Hines in right field. And then obviously you're pitching Nick Lodolo. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is a decent lineup from top to bottom. Definitely some guys that have been tracking at least under their kind of average, I think, with McLain and Steer, but both guys that I think are certainly capable of kind of having some breakout games.
Yeah, well, I think we really need to get McLain going. I going into the season, I was kind of under the impression that he was going to struggle anyway. Just missing a whole season. I think him coming into the season hot really kind of set everyone's expectations too high. And then he gets injured again, and then he misses like about a week and comes back, and then he's struggling. He's batting 200 over his last 7 games, so he's kind of seeing something, but he's hitting the ball hard. It's just the strikeouts are getting him, and he's just not hitting it where they ain't, as they say. Do you think keeping him in the 2-hole is good for his confidence, or are you maybe consider moving him down? Because like we're gonna talk about it in a little bit, but Espinal since July 8th of last year is 4th in Major League Baseball in batting average, and he's a good bat the ball guy. He kind of finds contact, doesn't strike out a whole lot. So maybe and people don't agree with it, but having him in the 2-hole, it's been kind of successful for him.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that, honestly. I think that's honestly fine. I think, and I don't think McLain. I don't know. I obviously don't know him personally or anything, but I just don't feel like he's the type of guy that would get in his head if we moved him down to like 6th or something like that. Maybe take some pressure off of him, if anything, and kind of let him feel it out down there. But yeah, and honestly, I could see making that move more for how Espinal's been playing rather than just like a demotion for McLain. Like Espinal's just been really good. Like you want to get that guy as many at bats as you can, and like I don't know, I could see him, being 2 or honestly even like a leadoff hitter. Like I don't think would be bad for these guys. I don't think they'll actually do that, but on a regular basis. But yeah, I mean, Espinal's earned it like from that regard. But I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, since July 8th of last year, there's only 3 players in Major League Baseball with a higher batting average. Bobby Witt Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Aaron Judge are the only 3 guys ahead of him in batting average since then. Gavin Lux is 10th, also, by the way, too. He's batting 309 since July 8th. Yeah, I think Espinal was kind of a surprise, and honestly, it's funny because we only have him because of Noelvi Marte's suspension. So that was kind of like a silver lining in a terrible situation. But yeah, I think I think McLain doesn't, like you said. I don't think he's the kind of guy that would get too upset about being moved down. But I just don't. I think Tito likes consistency in the lineup. He's got his spots picked, and we know when Hayes comes back, hopefully tomorrow, he's gonna bat cleanup, and Lux probably goes down a spot or 2, and Elly's going to remain in the 3-hole. Friedl's going to lead off. So I guess that's kind of what we got. Let's transition over to the Braves lineup if you want to read through it, and then we'll kind of highlight some guys through it too.
Yeah, sure. Leading off, I got Alex Verdugo. Batting second, Austin Riley. Third, Marcell Ozuna, followed by Matt Olson in the cleanup spot. You got Ozzy Albies behind him. Sean Murphy coming up next, and then followed by Eli White. Michael Harris second, coming up on the 8th spot, and then batting 9th is Nick Allen.
What are your what's a player you'd want to kind of highlight on the Braves if you were picking one? Because we got kind of lucky avoiding Acuna Jr. with his injury.
Yeah.
What do you?
Yeah.
Who's a guy you're looking at?
I mean, the top 5 like scare me, all of them. But
Yeah.
it's tough to pick. Verdugo is having a crazy good season, at least of late. He was a guy that I kind of was hoping the Reds would pick up, honestly.
Yeah.
But Austin Riley, Marcell Ozuna, don't throw Ozuna a fastball is my only advice that I can give you. That guy's always looking to just crank it out of the park. But and Matt Olson obviously has got some power too. So I don't know. I mean, I see all those guys, and then I think honestly, even their shortstop Nick Allen's like a pretty good ball player too. So I don't know, man. It's hard to like say. There's probably like easier to name the guys I'm not afraid of with this lineup. It's a solid team and it's a solid lineup. But I don't know. That's what makes it fun playing these guys too.
Yeah, one guy I wanted to key on was Matt Olson. He's never faced Lodolo, but his career versus the Reds, he's got a 330, 414, 680 slash line with 10 home runs and 21 RBIs and 97 at bats. That's scary. Matt Olson's kind of had a down year, but all it takes it's only May 8th, so anything can happen. He can get hot, and then you could turn into a 300 hitter. But yeah, Matt Olson's kind of like my guy to watch out for the Braves. Let's talk a little bit about the bullpen. We talked earlier about it, but we're kind of taxed a little bit. We've had a lot of guys throw some pitches. Santillan's thrown 50 in his last 2 games. There's not a whole lot available, so I was kind of, I don't want to say surprised, but I don't know a lesser synonym to surprise. But we didn't bring up a reliever for Greene's absence. I don't know. Eventually, we'll talk about who like a starter would be to come up, but who do you think who's our pitching path to victory? Who do you think gets the ball if granted Lodolo goes 6-7 strong innings?
Yeah, I mean, I think if they're probably coming out of Lodolo's innings and they got a lead, I think they go to Ashcraft and then probably hope they can get like 2 innings at least out of him. I would say maybe not at least, but probably 2 innings. Richardson, maybe if they're losing or, it's tied or something like that. But honestly, I mean, Pagan pitched the prior 2 games back to back, if I have that right. So I don't know if he's even available if they get in like a closing situation. May pitched 8 pitches yesterday, I believe. So maybe you got him at the end of the game
in the closer.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
that'd be electric.
He's got an electric arm for sure. So I mean, maybe a little foreshadowing to a future Reds team or something there too. But no, I mean, honestly, just out of availability, it might fall to that because I just don't know. Like, I mean, I'm sure guys, will definitely tell you they can pitch tonight, but like Pagan 3 days in a row, are you really going to do that? Like, I don't know, but. Do you think that there's any other guys that I'm not naming there, at least that I'm forgetting? Because I'm sure I am. But
the only guy who hasn't really pitched a whole lot's Rogers, but hasn't really been great this year. Maybe he get him in there early enough, and then you can throw in Ashcraft and May later in the game. Hopefully, and like I think Richardson probably gets into. He pitched Tuesday in the loss. He only threw 4 pitches, so he should be pretty fresh too. I don't know if you got the weather or not, but I did a little weather report. We got light rain around first pitch tonight. It's gonna be 81 degrees in Atlanta with some light wind blowing in from right field towards third base, and then going into about 9 p.m. the wind's going to blow out a little bit, but it's only going to be about 3 miles per hour. So weather shouldn't be too much of an issue, but like light rain is possible. So I mean, I guess anything can happen. There was some kind of some news in the NL Central today. Why don't you talk us through that? What happened?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing, or the biggest headline at least, and it's probably not too much surprise to people, but the Pirates fired their manager, Derek Shelton, and replaced him with their bench coach today. I mean, the Pirates, as probably even the casual baseball fan knows, are pretty bad. They're already 10 games out. They're 12-26 looking at the standings right now. So I mean, good luck to their bench coach, man. But I don't know if that's going to really change the tide over there. They probably need to spend some money. They got a similar problem as the Reds do usually. But so that was one headline I saw, and then the other one was the Cubs are actually going to be calling up their top pitching prospect, Cade Horton. So I think they're like number 2 prospect overall, but their top pitching prospect. So the rich get richer there, I guess. But those are the two biggest things that I saw, at least headline wise.
Yeah, and we're currently in a 3-way tie for second place. Cubs are 22-16, Pirates are 12-26. So poor Pirates fans, man. That's got to be a terrible feeling knowing that in about 4 years you're going to lose Paul Skeens as well. So, yeah. Let's go with some keys to the game here. What's a key, I guess, player you're tuning into, key moment, key option? What are you feeling tonight that if this goes right, we're gonna get the win tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we touched on Lodolo, obviously, I think is huge. But then on the offensive side, I think if you can we got to get Matt McLain right at some point. So maybe today's the day that it kind of jumps off. I think he's had a hit in at least the last 2 games, if I'm right there on the stats. So he's doing a little bit better, lately. Keep that momentum going. If he gets 2 hits tonight, that's my bold prediction. I hope Matt McLain 2 hits. That'll be a key for the Reds. I don't think that's going to win him the game unless those are really key hits. But be good to just see him on track more so than he has been.
Yeah, that'd be huge just to see a crooked number in the hit column for McLean. I have a thing where I kind of go through betting lines and kind of just find some obscure stats. We used to have me and Mike have our Friday night candy, but with him on the IL, we don't have any more Candelario stats. But Elly De La Cruz has at least one single in 9 out of his last 10 versus NL opponents. That's a -110. Gavin Lux has at least 1 RBI in 4 out of his last 5 appearances when the Reds are listed as an underdog. And TJ Friedl has at least 1 run scored in 4 out of his last 5 road games after playing the previous day. That's a +125. So maybe if you parlay those together, you might win some money. We'll see. But what are your thoughts on that? Elly low key has been okay. He could make some history. He is entering tonight's game. He has 296 career plate appearances, and then regardless of the totals from the next 4 games, he will become the first major leaguer since 1900 with at least 115 extra base hits and 115 stolen bases through his first 300 career games. You still worried about Elly, or what are your thoughts? Like, yeah, the strikeouts are there, but we have a phenomenal talent. I think we're taking advantage of him. I think we're not appreciating him enough.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with his speed, it makes it easy to get those base hits and extra base hits. And then, obviously once he's on, he can move around the bases pretty well, stealing it too. So I don't know. I'm not worried about him like per se, like as a warning sign or anything. But I think he definitely does need to get, a little bit hot if he wants to be, cover of MLB The Show, Elly De La Cruz. But no, I think I mean, I could see a big game out of him too.
Yeah, and let's break out our crystal balls. What is your score prediction for tonight? And if you're in the chat, first of all, like the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to Chatterbox Sports. Turn on the notification bell. That way you don't miss any episode, whether it's us off the bench, post game show with Nick and Trace. Put your score predictions in the chat. I'll highlight them, and then we'll get the show on the road. So, Austin, what do you got?
I think at least if the Reds are going to win this game, they're going to have to obviously score a few runs. I could see it being in like a 5-3 Reds range. I think, maybe Lodolo cruises and then, maybe gives up 1 or 2, and then, the bullpen gives up a run too. But I think I don't know. I just see it being around that range. I don't see it getting too out of hand just with how good both starters are, but I don't know. Score predictions are hard in baseball, man. That's why I don't bet baseball because I feel like even the stuff I know a lot about like it's just unpredictable. But what are you thinking? I guess score wise.
Well, I was thinking hopefully we can get Lodolo going. Carey's got 5-3 red legs, so that's a good.
Take
Just
it to the bank.
kind of agreeing with what you have to say. I'm hoping we could get 6, hopefully 6, maybe even 7 out of Lodolo tonight. And if that's the case, he's probably only allowed 1 run. So let's just say Richardson comes in, maybe gives up a run. I'm gonna say 4-2 Reds, and we're gonna put it into our terrible rubber match record, and we're gonna get it going, and we're gonna go into Houston tomorrow, winning 2 in a row. We got Christopher here. He's got 5-3 Reds, agreeing with Carey.
Everybody's just saying 5-3 now. Hey, I'll take it. Hey, if it happens, I don't know, tweet me or something. But
and if you pop in late and you're watching the pregame show after we're live, put your score prediction in the comments, and we'll. And if you win, we'll pin the comment, and then we'll get a nice little pin mark next to your name. I guess with that being said, we'll get out of here. Make sure to tune in tonight, 9th inning, post game show with Nick and Trace. Always a good time. You never know what Trace you're gonna get. You might get the toxic Trace. You might get Fireball Trace. So let's kind of hope for Fireball Trace over Firehead Trace. But thanks for tuning in. Austin, hit us with the Go Reds.
Go Reds, baby. Let's get the series.
Go Reds.